You know what I like? I like a game where Stephen Merchant is just very funny from the get-go.
Ah! Oh, God. You look good. Looking good, actually.
As far as tutorials go, I think Portal 2 takes the pie from Portal 1, from looking at things to a Portal 1 crash course to saying Apple. It gives you everything you need. Even at the very end of the game, when you gotta grab this one personality core, that very same puzzle has been taught to you before, but we are getting ahead of ourselves and into spoilers. So for the record, play Portal 1 because it is a perfect video game, and play Portal 2 because it is a perfect sequel. Portal 2's first 30 minutes aren't just carried by Stephen Merchant as Wheatley's one-liners, although there are plenty to be had.
1, 2, 3! That's high. It's too high, isn't it really, that?
It perfectly catches you up from the end of Portal 1 from a narrative and gameplay perspective, and you should absolutely play Portal 1, but the game helps those along who haven't and gives greater meaning and aha moments to those who have. When I first saw these paintings, I remember thinking, oh, this game's got lore now. We're quickly reunited with GLaDOS, and if Ellen McLain killed it in the first game, she really did take up reanimating the dead and forced it to take part in a turret choir in the second, because man, those little bits of her changed voice at the end of Portal 1 continue to evolve all throughout Portal 2.
Hello!
Oh, it's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead.
Don't worry, little turret, I will save you. GLaDOS, I hate you so much, I hope you—
He was cast into the bowels of the earth and picked by birds.
Yeah, little turret, that would be appropriate. And can we talk about just how much, well, personality the personality cores have? Look at Wheatley's little rolly eye. They could never make me hate you, Wheaty lad. Only you could do that. As you explore the facility with Wheatley popping his head in to guide you along, you don't feel as alone and isolated as in Portal 1. This is a tense back and forth of exciting puzzles, great visuals that stand up near 15 years on, and the jabs GLaDOS throws your way still give me the giggles.
This plate must not be calibrated to someone of your generousness. I'll add a few zeros to the maximum weight. You look great, by the way. Very healthy.
And the end of the first act is great. From the moment GLaDOS's agonized, bone-chilling screams come from the core transfer, you begin to doubt whether replacing her was right, strictly speaking. And by the time the evil lighting and laugh take over on Wheatley's end, it is way too late and comes as a surprise because this was only a bit longer than Portal 1. Valve could have ended it here and had made a great game, but Wheatley, designed to be a moron, immediately falls to the evil of being plugged into Aperture Science, doubts himself, lashes out. This is some of the best dialogue in the whole game, by the way.
I am not a moron!
Yes, you are. You're a moron they built to make me an idiot.
And we're cast deep into the bowels of Aperture, and while the simplistic wonder of Portal 1 is why I love it, it's this moment when the ancient history of science's past is on display. The ruined environments with portable walls just peeking through, that exploration is something just barely touched on in the first, leaving you wanting more, and now we get more. Much like Portal 1's main feature was initially part of Narbacular Drop, made by students from DigiPen who would come to work at Valve, the repulsion and propulsion gels were designed in Tag the Power of Paint, also made by students from DigiPen, also who would come to work at Valve. These mechanics were brought on board and, at least in my opinion, used to perfection in opening up way more puzzle-solving fun that's really shining in the co-op. The sound effects and stings when you do certain things really elevate the game and make you feel clever and cool for flying through the air, bouncing on gels, and sprinting through space-time. And speaking of cool things beneath Aperture,
those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
the inclusion of J.K. Simmons makes the game 98% better, it's true, and just playing the dialogue would do more than my notes on his performance as Cave Johnson ever could, so I will do a bit of that.
Good news is the lab boys say the symptoms of asbestos poisoning show a median latency of 44.6 years. So if you're 30 or older, you're laughing. Worst case scenario, you miss out on a few rounds of canasta. Plus, you forwarded the cause of science by 3 centuries. I punch those numbers into my calculator, it makes a happy face.
But moreover, it's the interplay between Cave Johnson and his assistant Carolyn that really makes this entire section sing for me and want to know more about how Aperture came to be the hell we know it as now. Reuniting with Potato GLaDOS is the first thing I think about when I think of Portal 2. Getting the antagonist as your companion is great, and occasionally a Cave Johnson or Wheatley joke won't land as hard for me, but everything Ellen McLean delivers here hits.
Oh, hi. So, how are you holding up? Because I'm a potato.
But it's not all just funny. Speaking of interplay between Cave Johnson and Carolyn.
Hold on, who?
Carolyn, are the compensation vouchers ready?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir,
Mr. Johnson.
Johnson. Why did I just... Who is that? What the hell is going on here?
That bit chills every time. Combine these narrative reveals with peak puzzle design and impressive set pieces. And it's my favorite bit of either of these games by far, and the Lemons monologue is funny, but my favorite bit of it is the quiet goodbye to the second act of this game that Carolyn gives to Cave and us.
Goodbye, sir.
Not to say it's not fun to have Wheatley back for the last third of the game, and what a finale it is, from the part where he kills you to Carolyn really selling your alliance to a tense boss fight where everything you've learned is needed to proceed. The final shot, the final thing you'll do in a Portal game for maybe ever, is so good. One more spoiler warning if you somehow don't know how this ends. If you've watched this whole thing but haven't played it, I envy you. Go play Portal 2. Okay. You shoot the moon. You shoot a portal onto the moon. Remember Portal 1 when you look through this room and see yourself and are like, no way. This is that moment on a literal planetary scale, and it is earned. What a pair of games. What an elevation Portal 2 is. It was even hinted at with the whole Space Rocks or Portal Fluid bit from earlier. Playtesting and going back and adjusting things is why Valve does so well with games like these when they make them. I have long held that I prefer Portal 1 as it is a perfect video game, while Portal 2 is very, very, very great. But in reviewing this and replaying it years later, I think Portal 2 is a perfect sequel. It's not the narrow, clear, not an inch of fat on it that Portal 1 is. It's got generousness, and where I used to think that was to its slight detriment, I think I've changed my mind. I think it's to its direct benefit. The new voice actors complementing those on board, an amazing score, bigger moments and advances in video game design that still need to be learned, taking what worked and making it better across the board without getting lost in its own scale, scope, or success. Yeah, Portal 2 is a perfect sequel and a bit better than a perfect game. And it ends with Carolyn being deleted, or so this person says, and I would call GLaDOS a person. I would call her Carolyn. She can't really be deleted, so she sends Shell away, wanting her to be free, not wanting her dead, knowing she cannot stay and wondering how to move forward. Well, here we are again. The send-off is from Carolyn to Shell. She sings to her through the turrets and then to us directly as the player, and when you step through that door and into the golden fields. Look, I want Portal 3. I think it would be great if it tries to do as Portal 2 did, just make a better and cooler follow-up. I do believe Valve is capable of that, but if it never arrives, that is fine, because this field is where Portal ends, and it's perfect.